Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1153B, and today's date is December 15th, 2016, and the title of the episode is The Elite Initiate Operation Remove Trump. Plans are set for December 19th. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, we can see that the elite, they are definitely pushing their plans, and they're trying to invalidate the elections. And we know Monday is December 19th, and they're pushing very hard. I can't even believe I'm still talking about the elections after the elections. And we can see that the elite, well, they're never going to give up. But what's very interesting is that there was a survey done, and they asked, do you think Russia's attempts to influence the presidential election using cyber attacks helped Donald Trump or helped Hillary Clinton? Or do you think they had no real effect? Now, on Fox News, they were shocked at the results because people actually said, and this is 59% of the people, it had no impact on the way they voted whatsoever. And there was no impact on the elections. What this tells us is that the American people are not buying the story coming out of the elite, coming out of the corporate media. And again, they still have no evidence. But that's not going to stop them. They don't care if they have evidence or not. Because right now, they're pointing the finger at Putin. Because they're saying, this is coming out of NBC, that they've cited 2 senior officials with direct access to the information, but we just can't show you that. They have new intelligence that shows that Putin personally directed how hacked material from Democrats was leaked and otherwise used. Well, we know the material was not hacked, it was leaked from the inside. So that's false right off the bat. And they're saying the intelligence came from diplomatic sources and spies working for the U.S. allies in the Russian government area. Now, they can't show any proof, once again. And we see right now, they're pushing as hard as they possibly can to stop Donald Trump from going into the White House. So, the only agency or body that actually cyber attacked the elections is DHS. Georgia actually just confirmed that yes, Homeland Security attempted to hack election databases on 10 separate times. And they went over this and over this and over this, and everything continually points to DHS. And they have the IP addresses, which is not really great evidence, but they did a trace back of where all this came from, and it continually ends up in DHS. Now, of course, DHS can say, well, it was Russia. Well, then their whole system then at DHS is compromised. They don't want to say that because they're the ones who are supposed to be in charge of protecting the U.S. So most likely from what we're seeing right now is that, yes, DHS, they were hitting and trying to manipulate the election results. Now, we see celebrities are out there, and they have video ads, there's print ads, and they are trying to convince the electors to change their votes on December 19th. If you notice, the corporate media, the elites, they are using everybody and anybody to push their agenda. Now, when you look at their website from the celebrities, it looks like the website was created shortly after Thanksgiving because the domain name is uniteforamerica.org. So this was planned about 3 weeks in advance. They already knew what they were going to do. They already understood that they have to change the Electoral College by December 19th. So what's happening right now? Well, the elite, they are threatening the electors. They're sending them thousands upon thousands of emails. They're threatening them with death if they don't change their vote. We see Congress is saying, okay, let us see the intelligence reports about this Russian hacking. And CIA, John Brennan, who's the head, and DNI, which is the Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, they refuse to brief Congress on their claim that Russia hacked the U.S. elections. They won't do it. Which is very interesting, because if they have all this evidence, why not? Of course, they're going to use, that it's classified, they can't hand this over. But if they want the American people to believe, they want the electors to believe, if they want everyone to believe, they're going to have to show the evidence. But they don't want to. Why? Because they don't have any. They have nothing. This is a propaganda stunt. This is part of their plan. Now, will it work? We don't know, but they're going to continually push and push and push. Now, Larry Nichols is out there, and he has worked for the Clinton campaign when Bill was running, and he's an insider. He has done things for them that he has been speaking about. He's open about what he has done. But he has come out, and he is saying that, yes, they will steal the vote on December 19th. Hillary and the rest of the elitists will never concede the election. Well, that's completely obvious. He went on to say that Trump, well, it looks like he will never be allowed to live in the White House. He'll be lucky if he's still president-elect past January 6th. He says, I'm sure they have plan A, B, C, but right now, obviously, plan A is to dump Trump. And he's saying that one of their greatest talents is somehow having people commit suicide by getting the victim to put 3 bullets in the back of their own head. So the December 19th vote is very crucial to them, and they are pissed, and they are in full battle mode. Plan B will be stealing the election via the January 6th congressional count of the electoral votes. One member of the House and one member of the Senate objecting in writing would be the first step. But in the big picture, what all of this points to is the beginning of the Second American Civil War. The elites are not going to give up. Most likely, we will head into a civil war because we can see what their plans are. I mean, it sounds crazy. People are saying, no, this couldn't happen. But would you ever think that after the elections, these individuals would be working so hard to take the presidency away from Donald Trump before December 19th by using Russian hacking, especially when Hillary won the popular vote? Because it really doesn't make any sense. Because if we go with their story on face value, what actually did Russia accomplish if Hillary won the popular vote? It makes no sense. But we can see right now, they are not going to give up. They're going to push forward. And it's going to get worse before it gets better. And we can see different outcomes here. If Hillary becomes president because they invalidate the elections, or they look at Trump and say, you know something, he cannot be president because of his Russian ties. They don't care if they have any evidence or not. Hillary will become president, and we will be going to war. They will collapse the economy. If they invalidate the elections and they say, you know something, we need to reschedule the elections for a later time, Obama will stay in the White House. Now, very interestingly, he reintroduce the UN Arms Trade Treaty into the Senate. Why would he do this with a month left? It makes no sense unless he's going to create some type of large event where he could declare a national emergency, maybe. If he does that, he stays in office. If Donald Trump actually makes it into the White House, they will crash the economy during his presidency. So in all three scenarios, the economy is going to crash. And during Donald Trump's presidency, if he's in the White House, they will give it a couple of months, and they'll say because of his policies, the economy completely fell down. While the economy imploded, they'll make it look like maybe Russia, North Korea attacked the United States so they can push the war. Under Obama's scenario, when he declares a national emergency and he stays in power, well, guess what? While we're under national emergency, he could just say, hey, Russia attacked the financial institutions, brought the economy down. So no matter which scenarios we're looking at, we're headed in the same direction. The elite are not going to give up. Now, we know that the elite, they're pushing Common Core. And Common Core is in 46 states right now. This is not about education. It's about indoctrination. And of course, they told us that Common Core was going to help the standards. Our kids were going to do better. And what we're seeing right now is that the results are in. In math and English, our rankings in the U.S. have dropped. The U.S. ranks 40th in the world and 31st out of the 35 developed countries. Well, that didn't help at all. Actually, if you notice, since the U.S. government got involved with education, we continually decline in education among other countries. And it is not getting better whatsoever. In reading literacy scale, the U.S. ranked 24th in the world. So we can see right now things are not improving. Basically, Common Core is not about education. It's about brainwashing, indoctrination, and molding the children to go along with the elite. We see Facebook right now. Well, they just created a new algorithm that decides who gets the most prominence in their newsfeed. And they're going to be tweaking it because what are they looking for? Fake news. So they're going to test their system and they're going to see how it works on a test basis. A group of Facebook researchers will initially have the responsibility of sifting through flag stories, because people now on their phones can flag a story, and they're going to determine which ones to send to the fact-checking organizations. And of course, those organizations are Snopes, those organizations are PolitiFact, and factcheck.org. Now remember, these organizations, they have ties to the government. And when you look on some of these, and you look under the Affordable Care Act, the subprime security, if you would have fact-checked it back at that time, they would have said, no, premiums are not going to rise, you can keep your doctor, because that was the fact. But it turned out that was a lie. If you looked under the subprime securities, are the subprime securities made up of people defaulting on their mortgages? The fact check would say, no, they're rated AAA, and they're good to go. Does Iraq have weapons of mass destruction? Yes, they do. Well, it turned out, no, they didn't. So again, who are they checking the facts with? That's what it comes down to. So what's going to happen here is when you go, they're not going to ban the stories. When you go and you see a story, it will be flagged. And it will say something like this: disputed by third parties. Before you share this story, you may want to know that independent fact checkers disputed its accuracy. So anytime you see this message, most likely the story is true, and spread it around. We see that Merkel right now is adopting Obama's strategy. She is blaming Putin for any potential loss in the elections. Her party, the CDU, well, they're going to censor the internet in Germany because what they're saying is all this news that's coming out, negative news, it's being instigated by agents of Russia. And they want to control all communication on the internet. Proposals are already circulating to impose financial penalties if a company does not immediately delete criminal content and hate speech, or any type of news that doesn't go along with the government narrative. The CDU is also targeting Google, which operates the video platform YouTube. So we can see already all these individuals who are part of the elite, who don't want to give up their reign, they are shutting down anyone that counters their story. And what does that tell you right off the bat? They're not working for the people. They're trying to shut the people up. We see the U.S. right now, they're bringing in about 4,000 U.S. troops. They're on their way to Poland right now as part of a test deployment intended to deter Russia. And the unit that's going out there is the 3rd Brigade Combat Team, part of the 4th Industry Division, stationed at Fort Carson, Colorado. This is a armor-heavy team, and they're known as the Iron Brigade. We see right now that Obama, he allows the Iran sanctions renewal for 10 years, but he didn't sign the bill. Right now we have a ceasefire in Aleppo. It looks like the moderate rebels, the terrorists, they've come to an agreement through intense negotiations. They're letting the Red Cross in. People are being evacuated. Humanitarian aid is coming in. And all those stories of atrocities and how Assad is killing people, all of that is completely false. It is falling apart right now. We see that Russia, right now, they have a cargo ship. It has been spotted crossing the Bosphorus Strait. It's en route to Syria, and the cargo ship is fully loaded with Russian army vehicles. And we can see right now supplies are coming into that area. They're reinforcing because, as we know, the central bankers, the U.S. government, they're not going to give up. They're going to continually push. Now, we understand that the terrorists have captured Palmyra. They're saying there could be man pads there. They have instructions to use them against Russian and Syrian jets. And of course, the U.S. is coming in to launch airstrikes in that area. Do you really think it's on the Islamic State? Or are they going to be protecting them? Because this is what we've seen in the past. We also see a Ukraine travel warning. It has been updated from the previous one on June 17, 2016. And the State Department warns U.S. citizens to avoid all travel to Crimea and the eastern regions of Donetsk and Luhansk, which tells us that most likely they're going to be trying something in that area to try to provoke Russia. They want a war now. They are on a war footing. They are pushing war because this is all they have left. The economy is collapsing. They know it is. They don't want a black swan event. They want to control it as it comes down. They're pushing their agenda forward, trying to get their candidate into power or to keep that candidate, the president right now, in power. They don't care which one. But you can see right now, they're not giving up. They're not walking away. And what's very interesting, and we talked about this previously in the report about civil war coming, how the elite aren't going to be giving up, and even Larry Nichols mentioned this. Well, Paul Martin's best inside source says the Naval War College computer, they did a simulation, and it's predicting a civil war will commence long before the inauguration. Now, we can see that Larry called for a civil war. We see this Naval War College computer. It's predicting a civil war before Trump is sworn in. And we see right now that all of this is going to be coming to a head because the elite are going to push their agenda. They're going to become more and more desperate as time goes on. And as they become more desperate, they do crazy things, because remember, they don't care about people. They don't care if people die. As long as they get their way, that's all they care about. And we see right now, they're going to be pushing their way, and no matter what it takes, they're going to try to reach that goal. And that goal is to take back their power, their control. Will it work? We don't know. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.